Our next guest holds the recent history record, at least, for the longest delay between someone winning a special congressional election and actually being sworn in to Congress. It has now been 43 full days since Adelita Grijalva won Arizona's Congressional District 7 seat to replace her father, the late Raul Grijalva.
Now, Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson says he will not swear her in until the House is back in regular session and the government shutdown is over, despite the fact that a speaker can swear in new members during pro forma sessions, as he did earlier this year with two Republicans.
Representative-elect Grijalva, thanks for joining us here on Arizona's Morning News. I know you and fellow Democrats have been complaining to really anybody who will listen about your inability to get seated in Congress, but you've also explored legal action. So what's the status of that? Apparently we don't have her.
Oh, did we lose her?
I guess
You know, with the advent of computers and AI, our jobs were supposed to be so much easier.
And this is not an AI-generated Adelita. Oh, I hear her somewhere back there.
Hello?
No. Good morning, team. This is a member of Adelita's team. She's having some trouble connecting. She will connect right away. There is a glitch on her end. I apologize.
Okay.
That is absolutely, you know what? It happens.
It does. It does, absolutely.
Yeah, sometimes it happens at 6 in the morning when we want it to work. Technology's not always there, but we'll get her on right away.
Okay.
We'll get this fixed.
I appreciate that.
The interesting thing is, as this shutdown has dragged on, it is affecting, things like swearing-ins. It's affecting, obviously, flights because of the FAA sort of, dropping the number of flights that are available to be flown in the U.S. And everybody is starting to feel it. And Americans are starting to react.
Yeah, and they should. And so I'm going to be interested to hear what she thinks might actually end the shutdown, because that is when, of course, Speaker Johnson says he'll actually swear her into Congress. But I also wanted to know about what she hopes to accomplish once she is actually seated in Congress. That would be nice to know. So she's calling in? Is that what I'm understanding? Okay.
Oh, excellent.
Thanks for being with us, Representative-elect Grijalva. I wanted to find out what the status is of the legal action that I know you've been exploring to get seated in Congress.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Sorry for the technical issues. We are working with AG Mays. She's filed the suit. It's been assigned to a judge, and we're just waiting out the process. I believe that she is holding on to the opportunity to request for more expedited verdict in the hopes that, Speaker Johnson actually does his job and swears me in.
So, let's try to look ahead, because eventually you will be sworn in. We know this, right? So when you become an official member of Congress, what is it that you want to accomplish in your time in office? Are there any particular issues you want to be known for, legislation that you intend to introduce?
Yes, there's the biggest one is environmental justice for all. My dad worked on that bill for about 15 years in working with sovereign lands, indigenous tribes, civil rights organizations, in making sure that the kinds of poisons that proliferated his area when he grew up is not something that we have to deal with consistently. Living in a Superfund site should not happen to as many people as it does across the nation, predominantly people of color and predominantly people living in poverty. Also pushing on public education, and once this administration continues to destroy, once they're done destroying our Department of Education, we're going to have to rebuild and rebuild better, and really looking at how do we protect people's rights in general. What we've seen with this administration is a continued ebbing away of our rights, and we have to push back on that. We have to fight for our democracy.
So, you mentioned actually part of your father's legacy that you would like to continue. How will you differ from him as a representative of Congressional District 7 of Arizona?
Yeah, well, our values are obviously the same. I mean, I am his daughter, and I believe wholeheartedly in all of the issues that he brought forward as a member of Congress. But respectfully, the situations are different. I mean, when he walked into Congress 22 years ago, there wasn't the kind of division, the kind of overreach that this administration has flexed to the nation, and we have to push back against that. I have, followed in his footsteps, whether it was on the Tucson Unified School District Governing Board or the Pima County Board of Supervisors, 2 positions he also held in the 50 years that he was in elected office. But the problems that we face are very different, and so how I approach those will be different as well.
When it comes down to it, CD7 is predominantly a Democratic district, right? I mean, it was going to be won by a Democrat, whether it was you who ran or someone else. And when you go to Congress, what kinds of things are you willing to work with Republicans on in order to, build a better country? Ultimately, your job is to make sure that everything is running smoothly in America, and it most certainly is not right now.
Yeah, boy, that's for sure.
Right. It's really pushing for the progressive values that Southern Arizona sent me to fight for. And so when we're looking at legislation on affordable housing, legislation on fair pay, anything that is going to support and work for Southern Arizona, I'm going to work with whomever is willing to. Right now, the Republicans we have a party of a lot of extremists, and it's really difficult to negotiate with extremists, if not impossible. And so I'm very optimistic that at the midterms, there's going to be a shift, and there'll be a willingness to work together. I mean, if you look at this shutdown and the fact that the Senate has voted down 13 times what I say in quotes, a clean CR, continuing resolution, it's not clean. There was no input from one Democrat into that document. And so it's not a wonder that it's not passing. And this would be an opportunity, the first time it was shot down, for Congress to reopen and for us to sit there and negotiate something that all of us could at least live with and move on. But here we are. We're now over a month into this shutdown, and there is no end in sight because we have to be at the table. Congress, the House has to be at the table for us to be able to negotiate.
All right. Thanks so much. That is Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva, who is currently holding the record, the recent memory record anyway, for the longest delay between someone winning a special congressional election, which she won in Arizona's CD7, and actually being sworn in to Congress.
Thanks for watching Arizona's Morning News. Click to watch more from KTAR News and hit the button in the middle to subscribe.